Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
You know, a lot of us gravitate right away to a medicine, something that was prescribed from a doctor, maybe something over the counter for whatever ails you. Might not need to do that. I try to avoid it whenever I can, if I can go a more holistic route, because they've been doing that for centuries, literally centuries. I'm talking about herbal remedies. And today we're going to talk about go-to herbs, ones that you should have on hand for a variety of different reasons. And she knows all about that. She is a master herbalist, and she's back with us. Amy Willis is on the program. Well, welcome back here, Amy. How you doing?
Yeah, doing great. Glad to be here again.
Yeah, we've learned so much in the last couple of podcasts. And I'm one of those people that love to prepare, like have it in the cabinet, love that feeling of, oh, let me get that. And I'm envisioning that's what we're going to look at today in terms of different herbs to have on hand. And I'm also thinking that many of the ones we're going to mention have multi-purposes.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
So
What would you start with? If you, I don't, a lot of us are fresh to this, but what would be some of the go-to herbs to have, in your cabinet on hand if you ever need them?
right. So there's several different ones, that we can list that would be good. But I want to try to use the ones, there's a lot of herbs and they're good for a lot of different things, but let's try to focus on the ones, get a few herbs that are going to cover just about everything.
Sure.
Okay. To make it simple and not have, a whole cupboard full of different things. So first up, I'm going to start with peppermint, because that's one that most people know. And of course, you can just have the cut peppermint and make it into tea. But what's really helpful is having an essential oil. And peppermint is known for pain relief and for digestive issues. So it's going to cover those. So if you have an upset stomach, you can take peppermint. Even little children, they can take just a little tiny bit of peppermint in some water and settle that stomach down. If you overeat or if you eat something that doesn't agree with you, that's a great one to just settle the stomach down. And then as far as for headaches, that's a good one too. You can take a hot cup of peppermint tea, or you could put the oil in some hot water. The hot water will help it get absorbed more. So that's why to do that. But you could take it directly. And then there is an interesting remedy even for migraines that a person can do. So you would take some peppermint essential oil, and then you would put it up on the roof of your mouth, just with your thumb or whatever, you put it up there, and then you press up a little bit on the roof of your mouth when you're putting it in. So I'll demonstrate a little bit. Okay, so because then what that does is it gives a little bit of an adjustment on the upper part of the mouth, and that can help relieve. And then the peppermint itself. Okay, so that's a good thing to do.
Quick question on that. I have peppermint essential oils. I put them in a diffuser. Mix them with other stuff from time to time. Are they all consumable, or do you need to make sure you double check?
You do want to double check. Not all of them are consumable.
Okay.
So, the ones that we know are consumable, like the peppermint and the ginger, cinnamon, just a little bit, then we use that in food anyway, then that's fine. But be very careful not to take too much, because they're very concentrate. Okay, of course, ginger would be another one. It's not really necessarily on my list, but it could be. It's a good one to increase the white blood cell count for when you have a cold or a fever. The other thing, so we'll move from peppermint now, and that's pain relief, digestive issues. So then we're going to move to slippery elm. Slippery elm is one it's not known that well, but it's absolutely excellent for heartburn and acid reflux and diarrhea, throwing up. It just settles the nauseousness. It settles the stomach. It actually heals the whole alimentary canal. I use it a lot with people. That's one to have on hand. Now, it used to be used as baby food.
Really?
Yeah. So
Huh.
because it's so nutritional. And
Wow.
yeah, easy to, it's powder, it comes in powder, and then you just mix it with a little bit of water, and you can take it like that, spoon eat it, or you can put it in water and drink it down. I used to give my daughter cyprium a lot. And it was to the point where that was like pudding to her.
Wow. See, I didn't know it had nutritional value. Was it added to baby food or it was baby food?
It was baby food.
Amazing.
So now we think of cyprium, and that's used a lot for like sore throats. But it helps the whole alimentary canal from the mouth and the throat all the way. Okay, so that's a great one, especially if you have little children or anyone in the family who has digestive issues. You want to use that.
Gotcha.
Another good one would be nettle. So I used to have nettle bushes in my garden, and we would go pick it and use it. So nettle is very nutritious. It's high in iron, high in a lot of trace minerals. It's a natural antihistamine. So people who have allergies, it helps with that. You can just eat it as spinach. So if growing it in the garden is a good thing too, because it'll add nutrients to the soil. We used to get a plastic bag, put it on our hand, and then pick it like that, and then pull it through the bag, and then we'd have our little harvest. Because it's stinging nettle. And then we put it in a pot, boil in water, boil it a little bit, strain it, add some salt and butter, and it tastes great. I had one of my sons brought a friend to our home one day. I think it was like a Sunday, and so I made up some nettle that was part of the menu. And he said, so this friend said, "Oh, it tastes better than spinach."
Really?
Yeah.
You think I'm kidding, but I'm writing these down.
Yeah,
I'm not even kidding.
Oh, good.
And slippery elm sounds like it is so universal. I have some reflux issues. It just sounds like it's a great one for digestion.
Yeah, so when people have like heartburn, indigestion, well, mainly heartburn and acid reflux, then I always recommend they do cyprium. But the problem often is parasites too, so you want to address that. There can also be a little bit of structural issue with hiatal hernia going on, with the stomach is up into the diaphragm, and you have to address that structural component and get that pulled down a little bit.
And no herb's going to help you with that.
Well, herbs don't necessarily do the structural part of pulling it down.
Right. No, I'm saying that the herb is not going to help with that, but it can help relieve some symptoms if you are dealing with a hiatal hernia or some other challenges. But slippery elm seems like a good one. Peppermint as well. And I have peppermint at home as an essential oil. Just got to double check, see if you can consume it.
Right. Yeah. The essential oil of peppermint, yes, but be very, just a little tiny bit.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
very concentrated.
Fine. Right. So nettle is more like a nutritional herb. It's not like medicinal, though it does have properties. Okay. So you could eat a lot of nettle and just use it like you would spinach or something. Okay. It's also great for the hair. So I have had people, make a little tonic for their hair with it too, like making it into a rinse, making like nettle tea and then rinsing the hair in it. So that's an added benefit. But drinking nettle tea is good too. It's very, like, if you need like a pick-me-up and you need some energy, and you want a good kind, then you can make a nice pot of nettle tea and drink that.
When you talk about the hair, is it the hair tonic that people make? Where I'm going with this is consuming nettle isn't just going to improve your hair. It's you apply it to your hair.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So apply it to, of course, internally, there can be other factors that should be addressed, and drinking it, eating it is going to be good because you get all these nutrients. But the main thing is for the hair, you do need to apply it.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay.
Interesting. We're learning a lot.
Okay. So the next one is going to be red raspberry leaf. So if you have a red raspberry plants in the garden, then you can also harvest the leaves and use the leaves. This is a great remedy for diarrhea. So just making it into a tea and drinking that as a tea has helped a lot of people recover from diarrhea.
Okay. Where can you buy that?
Yes. Now we sell the herbs, like bulk herbs, so you can order it on our website. Most any of these herbs you can order and get, the dried, and then it has a fairly good shelf life. And then you have it ready for you, So like during the summer, if you harvest it and dry it yourself, if you have those, then you can put it in a mason jar or something and then have it readily available. So back to red raspberry leaf, it's highly nutritional as well. So that's a great one for nutrition too. And it's always been known, well, I shouldn't say always, but it's been known for a long time that it's good for morning sickness during pregnancy. So that's like the go-to herb during pregnancy. So
Gotcha. Wow.
But of course it has other useful properties as well.
Everything we're talking about here, you have available on your website?
Yes.
Oh, terrific. Okay. Because this is the other thought that I have. If I were to go buy it, any of us to go buy it, like even slippery elm, how do you know the quality is there? We trust in you, but just going anywhere on any website, how do you know what you're getting? You really don't, right?
That is true. In fact, sometimes they, I've heard of, them putting something else in it or mixing it with something else, which is not good, but it's done to, cheapen things or to make a better profit. So
sure.
Yeah, you do want to be careful where you go. Make sure you get a reputable company.
Yep. Gotcha. What's next? We got a lot here. These are great.
Right.
I
So
got to get me some slippery elm. I'm not even kidding you.
Yeah, that would be a good one. So the other is going to be cayenne. So we talked about cayenne quite a bit, last time or a few other times. And, that one is like emergency too. So you want to have some cayenne. The tincture would be the best. Tincture would be like a bottle like this, with liquid, and you'll be strong. And then, so that's going to be good for like if your child has a nosebleed, or if there's a cut and you can't get it to stop bleeding, you take it internally and it actually stops it from bleeding externally. Okay.
Wow.
It's going to be good for any kind of heart problems. It's going to be good for hypothermia if someone falls into a frozen lake, and starts hyperventilating, to help bring them around. So anything to do with circulation, it's going to be helpful. And like I mentioned before, it has brought people back from a heart attack. And notice what you can feel the difference when you take it. Okay, so that one definitely have on your shelf in your first aid kit.
Wow. When you say cayenne, the first thing I think of is pepper, and
right.
A strong pepper. That tincture that you take, is it, wow, I just had like a jalapeno, not that far, but it does it have a little kick to it?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. So
Wow.
There's different, from different companies, you're going to have some real strong, and then you're going to have medium strong and so forth. Mine, I would say is probably medium strong. It's pretty strong to me. But I've heard that there's other ones that are stronger, and then it's a little bit hard to take. But you can also, put it in a little bit of water and take it down that way. But when a person is having something serious going on, you're not going to worry about that. You just gotta take care of it.
Is it something that you would take preemptively, or you only take it when you really need it?
You can take it for prevention, yes. So, like the first thing in the morning, often I'll take a little bit of lemon juice with some cayenne in a glass of water. So that's going to be a good pick-me-up to just start the day, start the body. It helps circulation. It can clear your mind. It can help your body wake up a little bit more. So yes, and I would say, especially if a person is having, heart issues or blood pressure issues, then yeah, take it on a regular basis.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. Yeah. And you did talk about it before. I wondered if it, if it's that strong, but I guess it's strong for a reason.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. How about some other go-to herbs? What should we have?
Okay, so this time I'm going to talk about a mix, so a formula, because it's cold and flu season right now. You want to make sure that you can handle what's coming around. So I recommend mainly 2 or 3 products just to have on hand. So if somebody gets sick, you have something to take care of it. So the one that we make here is Special Force. So I call it Special Force because it's pretty strong. This one brought my mom, helped my mom get rid of walking pneumonia. So this is pretty strong for bacterial infections. And so you want to take, like 2 droppers once or twice a day to help with that. The herbs in here are mainly like echinacea, astragalus, and a few others that combined, they work synergistically to help the body fight these pathogens off. Okay, so that would be one. Another one would be, I don't have it with me right now, but it's called LDM. It's the herb Lomatium dissectum. So this one is really strong for viruses. So that way you have something that's going to work for bacteria, something that's going to work for viruses. So this LDM is just known very well for getting rid of just about a host of different viruses, colds and flus and things like that. Very effective.
Interesting. Do you use these on a regular basis?
Yes, I have a program too that I do. I have like what's called a weekly rotation program. So what that is so after my clients get to a point where they're doing quite better, they've got a lot of resolution for the problems that they've had, then you want to maintain. You don't want to go back into the problems that you had. So you want to maintain. So what I recommend, depending on this person, the situation, and what they're being exposed to, the more aggressive form would be to go on this rotation where each week you're taking something. So 1 week you'll take like the parasite formula, and then the next week you're going to take the Special Force, and then the next week you're going to take this LDM, and then the next week you're going to take like I have a blood cleansing formula, and then you just keep repeating those each week. So you're only taking one.
Basically a rotation.
Right, rotation.
Okay.
So that's weekly rotation. So this program is really powerful because these formulas actually will get rid of just about a lot of pathogens out there. And so basically every month, you're just getting rid of them so they don't get a root in you, okay, including the parasites.
Now, not scientific here, but I'm kind of curious, based on your experience, research, and everything, what percentage would you say that the average person, population, has parasites, pathogens, all of that? Like in a scale from 1 to 10, 10 would be pretty much everybody. 1 would be hardly anybody. Where would you put it? Again, this is complete ballpark, but based on
right.
What
so from what I've seen experimentally through people who have come, hundreds and hundreds of clients over the years, I'd say 10. Maybe there might have been 1 or 2 out of 1,000
that are dealing with it.
That are not.
That are not.
Right. So I would say, it'd be 9.5 or maybe 9.8.
You don't even have. We're good. You don't even have to continue.
Yeah. So you get the point.
Yeah. Problem.
Okay. Right. Real problem. That's why we have people are sick and they have all these, diabetes and, overweight and a lot of these things that people are experiencing health-wise, those are just symptoms. Okay.
Sure.
So everybody, just about everybody, we could say, unless they are doing something and, do they have vibrant health? Who do you know that has vibrant health? never get sick, they're bouncing off the walls
And that's, I can't really name anybody. And a lot of times, even your close friends, contacts don't reveal everything that's going on.
right.
They
Yeah.
don't have to. But I know, myself, dealing with some stuff. I got to say, a year and a half ago, I was pretty good. I was eating well, I was exercising, and then just started getting off the rails. And then, it's like the snowball down a hill, and then other things pop up and such. We have a question. Instant feedback,
Yes.
Steve at gmail.com is where Melissa from Smithtown, New York checks in. She says, my mom is prone to urinary tract infections. Is there an herb or two that can help prevent those problems?
Right. Good question. So there again, we would have to do a full body thing, because it's not just, okay, the urinary tract infections. But there are some things that can be used. So LDM would be one. Most of the time when it's urinary tract, it's bacteria. So then I would go with a special force. Okay. Now, and I'm wondering what her symptoms are too, because you can have a urinary tract infection, but then you can also have interstitial cystitis, which is the inflammation of the lining of the bladder. Okay. So even if we get rid of the infection, there can still be problems, because if the person has a lot of, they're getting a lot of bladder infections, kidney infections, that's going to aggravate things. So, the special force would be good. You can do both with herbs. It's not like you just only do one, and be careful. Usually if I get sick, I'm going to do 3-4 different things, because I want to get well in a day. So I would say, she could do the special force, and then she could also do the LDM or a version of that. We have a kidney and bladder formula too. That's more to heal it, not necessarily. It does help with other things too, like kidney stones. But for the infection, you do the two that I mentioned.
So, quick question. I don't want to run out of time, but if somebody is listening and this resonates, they're dealing with, something that slippery elm or special forces can help. I know that you said that you do the muscle testing in person and you really can't do it so much virtually. How can somebody work with you in that capacity? Could they reach out to you? Hey, here's what I got going on. What do you suggest? Well, I think you should buy this, buy that, get it on my website. Or does it have to start with a full consult before they can get direction on what to buy?
Well, right. I do phone consultation. So, you'd fill out a form. We go through what's going on. That would be better than just making a call and, trying to find out what to do. I don't like to do that because I want to deal with the whole person. So the best thing would be a phone consultation. And then, because I've been doing this for a while, I basically know, I can usually tell what's going on. Plus we have a questionnaire that they can answer that sort of helps direct, so it'd be more symptomatic, that would work with them on. Yeah, I do have quite a few people that I do phone consultations with.
So you would do a phone consult. There's a fee for that, I would assume, sure. And then
Right.
you kind of get a baseline for what somebody is dealing with. Then you could direct them on what they should buy.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
And then usually we'll do a follow-up, so we want to make sure that they get resolution, not just, oh, here's a bunch of stuff, take this, so we start with the phone consult. They start on a program, then we do it, in 2 weeks or 4 weeks again, to make sure that they're on the right track, see if things are getting better, see if there's other problems that have come up, and then deal with those. So I like to work with my clients until they get resolution.
Gotcha. Yeah. This is great. I mean, some of these slippery elm is now on my radar.
Yeah.
Definitely. Got to find it on your website. And with that, is there a direction on how often to take it, how much to take?
Right. Yeah. We would, on the bottom, of course, it tells that, but of course, when you do a consultation, we'll give you all the information that you need.
Beautiful. What's your website again?
Herbs, the number 4 uyou.org.
Yeah. Thank you for all the info. This is great. I never knew peppermint was so versatile, and even just the roof of your mouth, putting it there. You don't see this stuff online, and if it is, you got to dig deep to find it.
Right.
And you've got it at your fingertips, and so much more knowledge. So yeah, go to the website, learn more, get a consult. Is it the initial consult, at least to see if it's a right relationship? Was that at no charge? I'm just double checking.
Oh, no, we do. Anyone can call just for information.
Yeah.
You can call anytime that we're open and we'll help you. But if you do want the full consult, then it does cost, yes.
Of course. Yeah. And look at it this way, game changer could be a complete turnaround in your life if you're dealing with something and really don't want to pivot over to medication, which is just, it's a Band-Aid and there's side effects. There's a reason that people are still talking about herbs in 2023 because they've been around for centuries for a reason. And guess what? A lot of the medication we use came from plants, or at least it began there, and then it was turned into synthetics. Amy, thank you so much for being here again today. Really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.